Alright, this is student handout 6 comparing box plots. Sometimes some people call box plots box and whisker plots because it kind of has a box with some whiskers coming off. I kind of find drawing box and whiskers super fun because it's pretty easy to draw them. You only need 5 numbers. So, board. Let's see. There we go. A box plot displays a data distribution using 5 key numbers. The difference between the first and the third quartile is called an interquartile range. We've worked with interquartile range before. And the next 5 is our 5 pieces of numbers that we need to create our box plot or box and whisker. The smallest piece of data, what's another name for that? Starts with an M. Minimum. So we need our minimum number. I'm going to go in the order that I like collecting my data. Next, I like finding the largest piece of the data. What would that be? Starts with an M. Maximum. So my minimum would be right here. My maximum would be here. Might want to label it. That's my min. That's my max. The next piece of data that I like to find is this middle one, the median of the data. Well, that's just your median. And that is here, your median. Quartiles. How many pieces are in quartiles? 4. Sounds like quarters, doesn't it? Quartiles has 4 sections. You can easily see the 4 sections in a box and whisker. Here's quartile 1, the first quarter, the second quarter, the third quarter, and the fourth quarter. See them? Okay. The median of the lower half of the data is your quartile 1, your first quartile. That's where your box starts. This is my Q1. The median of the upper half of the data, what do you think that's called? Quartile what? 3. Very good. My third quartile. It's the third section, so that is Q3. And there are your 5 numbers needed to create a box and whisker. Okay, well, let's talk about why a box and whisker is useful. Raise your hand if you're 10 years old. We're all older than 10. Okay, raise your hand if you're 11. 12. Okay, several with 12. 13. Okay, several 13. Any 14? 14. Any possible 15-year-olds? Okay, if I brought a 5-year-old into this class, is their age related to us at all? No. That would be my minimum age here, my minimum. And that's why the whisker is so long, because he's he's going to be far away from us, right? Is he even close to being cool like us?
No.
No. Most of our people fall in the box. And what ages is most people in here? 12 and 13. Then we have cool girl Amy. Is she in our box with us? No, but she's pretty close to our box, isn't she? She's very close to our box. So she's very close to being cool like us. She's just got to fix a couple little things, Amy. You work on that for us, all right? All right, so that is what the box and whisker kind of explains. This is where the majority of your numbers are. This is your outliers. And if the whisker's really long, they're a great deal away from being cool like us. So let's work with some creating a box and whisker. Number 1, we're talking about the number of animal crackers in a box. I always thought every box would have the same number of crackers, but does it look like it is the case? Looks like sometimes we're getting gypped on our crackers. Sometimes we might luck out and get more. I would probably be the one to get the gypped cracker box. All right, so first things first, we have to put our numbers in order from least to greatest. So let's do that. So who's the smallest here?
34.
34. That's a horrible 3, but we'll rock with it. Who's next?
45.
45.
47. 48.
47. 48.
48.
There's 2 48s. Then 49.
50.
Then 50. And I used every piece of data. All right. Now I'm going to go in the order that I like to go in. Just a personal preference. It kind of makes it easier on myself. The easiest one, the minimum. Who would be the minimum in this data?
34.
34. So I'm going to circle 34 and write 34 as my minimum. All right. Who do I like looking at next?
50.
My max. All right. So who is the max here?
50.
That's not an 8. It's a 0. Sorry. My max is 50. Then what do I like looking at? My median. So I'm going to cancel out till I get to the middle. 45, 49, 47, 48. Who's the middle?
48.
This 48 right there is my median. So I've gotten 3 numbers. I'm going to draw a line because that's my middle. It just makes me happy. Now I have to find quartile 1, which is your median of your lower half. So I really have 3 numbers down here. 34, 45, and 47. Who's in the middle? 45. You don't use 48. These 3 numbers. So 45 is my quartile 1. To find my quartile 3, it's the median of your upper half. I have 3 numbers in my upper half. So who is in the middle? 49. It was kind of easy to see. He is quartile 3, 49. That's my 5 pieces of data that I need for my box and whisker. So I'm going to put points. 34, I would say, is about right there. I'm going to put a dot. 45, way over here. Then I need a 48, about right there. 49, and 50. So there's my 5 dots. Now creating my box and whisker. Your first quarter creates a box or a whisker? A whisker. So my first quarter is a whisker. then that goes into a box. The next three numbers create your box. And your last quarter is a whisker. So, looking at a box and whisker, who is my major outlier here? 34. How do you know he's the major one and 50's not the major one? Because it's got a longer whisker. Okay? Between what two numbers is most of my data in? That's going to be your box. So it's mostly between 45 and 49. Well, looking at my numbers, is most of my numbers between 45 and 49? Yeah. Then I have another outlier, but is he really far from being like the rest of us? No, he's pretty close. He's just kind of out of there. He's kind of a little different. So it looks like most of the animal crackers is sticking right here. Then this will be Miss Adams' box that she probably gets of the measly 34 crackers. Yeah, isn't it kind of fun?
Yeah.
I like it.
Isn't my favorite thing to do that?
Box and whisker? Yeah, it's fun. All right, number 2. We're talking about the number of hours a small candle will burn. I need to put this in order from least to greatest. So we have several candles we're looking at. Who's my smallest here? 7.
8.
Then
8.
8.
2 9.
2 9.
10.
Hold on, where's that other? Oh, there's the other 9. A 10.
2 11.
2 11s.
12.
1 12.
Yeah.
I'm going to move to the bottom. I'm out of room. After 12 is a 14. Okay.
2 15.
2 15s.
Then a 16.
Cancel my 15s.
Wait,
Then
I mean
a
a 19.
16.
19.
Then a 19. And I used everybody. All right. We have several candles here. Let's see. All right. What number you want to look at first?
7.
7. What is 7?
Minimum.
Minimum. All right. Who you want to look at next? 19. The max. He's easy to find. Then who do you want to look at? The median. I gotta cancel 7, cancel that, cancel 8, cancel that, cancel this, cancel this, cancel this, cancel this, cancel this, cancel this. The first 11 or the second 11?
Second 11.
Okay.
I mean the second.
So this is my median, 11. Again, I like to draw a line there to remind me not to use it. Now I need my quartile 1, so I've got to find the median of these lower ones. So 7, 11 cancels, 8 and 10 cancel. I have 2 9s left in the middle, so I have to take the average of that. Well, what could the average of 2 9s be?
9.
Woo-hoo, Jose! So my quartile 1, I added 2 9s and got what, Jose?
9.
18. Then when I divided by 2, I got a 9 for my quartile 1, median. Now for my upper half, cancel, 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 cancel. I have 2 15s in the middle, so what possibly could be my average of 2 15s? 15. So my quartile 3 is 15. Now I'm going to create my box and whisker. So first number up is 7. I think it's about right there. Then a 9. Then an 11. 15. And then 19. What does my first quarter do? Whisker. The next quarters create the box. And the last quarter is a whisker. So, do I have a major outlier?
No.
They're kind of close to being equal lengths. One is a little longer than the other. Who would that be? 19's kind of out of there. Then who's the other outlier? 7. So the majority of our data is between 9 and 15. Well, looking at this, is the majority of our numbers between 9 and 15? Yeah, that makes sense. The middle number of all of them is 11. And there is my lovely box and whisker. All right, now we're going to answer some questions about box and whisker now that we know what they're about. God bless you. So number 3 says, use the given box plot to determine the 5-number summary. Whew. What is my minimum here? Minimum would be here. I agree, 11. Quartile 1, what number would that be? Quartile 1 is located here. I agree, that would be a 12. My median is here. What number is that? 14. Quartile 3, what would that be? 16, I agree. And my maximum? 18. Wow, that was hard. I'll just give you one of those problems. I ain't gonna. That's gonna give you a headache.
I know, right?
Yeah.
That's all we need for the test.
Yeah. All right. So this says Evan conducts an exit poll at the public library. He wants to compare the ages of voters who voted Republican to those who voted Democrat. He thinks that there will be a greater variability of ages in voters who voted Democrat than those who voted Republican. So Democrat box is up top, Republican box is down below. Well, who's looking at the ages? Who's getting the younger voters, it looks like? The Democrat is getting my younger voters. What told you that?
The lower ages.
The box is located lower. Okay, so Republicans are getting the older voters. All right, well, let's kind of determine what these numbers are. What is this number of my quartile 1 here? I'm looking at an angle, so I really can't tell. 28, 27. Let's go 27. What would you say the median is here?
35.
35?
36.
I'll say 36. What about here? 40,
41.
41. Okay. Let's look Republican. What would quartile 1 be?
40.
It's right on 40. What about the median?
49.
49.
Kind of looks 49 and a half almost, huh? It's like really close. I'm going to go 49 and a half. And here's falling right on 60.
Yeah, I think 60.
Okay, so Democrats, the majority of the voters are between what 2 ages? 27 and 41. So Democrats is getting majority ages there. What majority ages is Republicans getting? 40 to 60 years old. They have a random few outliers, but for the most part, most of their ages are coming from there. All right, so number 4 says, what is the difference in the measure of center of voters who voted Republican and Democrat? Measure of center is your median. That's why they call it center. What does difference mean? Subtract. Okay, well, what's my center of Democrat?
36.
36. What's my center of Republican? 49.5 minus 36. You have a calculator. What is that? $13.5. Okay. So the difference is approximately 13.5 years. Man, we were dead on our numbers here. First hour, we got 15 years. Well, is that still approximately about 13.5 years? It's pretty close. That's why they use the word approximately. Number 5 says, determine the variability of voters who voted Republican. Determine the variability of voters who voted Democrat. Variability is when they ask for the IQR. What does IQR stand for? Interquartile range. Okay, and that's subtracting your Q3 minus your Q1. Well, for Democrat, what is my Q3 number? 41. Minus, what is my Q1 number? 27. And what do you get there? 41 minus 27. 14. Okay. Republican, finding my IQR. 60 is my Q3. Minus Q1 is 40. What's my IQR here? What? 20. All right. So, in word form here, the IQR, did we get the same numbers? We did. Republicans voters has a span of 20 years, and Democrat has a span of 14 years. Number 6 is kind of a challenging question. I would never ask you a question like this, and I don't expect the leap to either, because it kind of gets into Algebra 1-y stuff. But just to explain it, it says, how is the difference in centers related to the variability of each problem? Well, the centers is 36 and 49.5, and they wanted to know how it was related. They figured up that 1.5, if I multiplied 36 times 1.5, I'm getting close to 49.5, if not exactly. I haven't done the math. So that's just what they're saying there. Again, that's kind of going out of 7th grade level. All right, our last box and whisker we're going to look at. We're looking at minutes on an American Ninja Warrior course. If you don't know that show very well, there are 2 campuses. They have a course in Florida and they have a course in Texas that they will video their shows from. Looking at the box and whiskers, What course would you think? Well, we'll get there in a second. So this is the number of minutes it's taking to complete the course. Do you think you want to complete the course in a shorter amount of time or a longer amount of time?
Shorter.
Shorter. That's how you're becoming the, what do they call it? Top Ninja Warrior? I guess the champion of Ninja Warrior. Because don't they get all the top scorers and then compete for the grand champion? Okay. It asks, what was the median time for both courses? Median is going to be your middle box line here. So what would you say the median is here?
8, 9.
9? I'd say so. And what about Texas? What's my median? 11?
11, 12.
11, 12. Let's see what they say exactly. They said Florida is at a 10. We were off 1 on both. Oh well, we were close. We're kind of looking at an angle here. So number 8 says, what course appears to be more difficult and why? Can you tell from a box and whisker which one looks more difficult?
Yes.
Who do you think, Florida or Texas?
Texas.
Why Texas?
Because it takes longer amount of time to finish.
It's taking a longer amount of time to finish. How do you know it's taking a longer amount of time to finish?
Because it's
Eating
The box is shifted over to the higher amount of minutes. And another reason here, what box looks bigger? Texas. That means your span of time is spread out more, which means here more people is getting closer amount of times and kind of tying. Here, not as many people are tying. It's a little more challenging. So Texas appears to be more difficult because it had a wider spread, and 50% of the data was above Florida's median. All right, and number 9, a participant finished in 14 minutes in Texas. What can you conclude about the participant? I'd say 14's about right here, huh? So, what quartile is he in? What quartile would this be in? The third one. Okay, so he's in the third quartile. So is he with the majority of people?
No.
Is he falling with most of the people? If he's in the box, he's falling with most of the people. But is he exactly with the median?
No.
He's a little lower or higher than the median?
Higher.
He's a little higher. The median was 11 or 12. So we can conclude the participant finished in the third quartile, slightly above the median. All right, so homework 6 will be checked tomorrow. Your Geo Packet 2 is due tomorrow, no later.